Welcome back everybody, hope you're all doing really well. I'm so sorry I haven't filmed for a while. It just seems everything's been against me over the last month or so, but I'm here today to give you a late summer garden tour. Officially it's only about 4 days until autumn here in the UK, so let's go around the garden and have a little look at everything. This year has been very up and down in regards to the weather. We haven't had the best summer, so a lot of the plants are still actually very behind. Some of them have only just started flowering or haven't even flowered at all. So let's go into the centre of the garden to begin with. As you can see, the Alstroemeria are looking perfect as ever. I really recommend these for a tropical style garden. They come in all sorts of different colours. I think I've got about 4 or 5 different ones now, and they bloom from early summer all the way up until autumn. And I will show you how to deadhead these as well in this video. So those have been doing really well. The fuchsias have been very behind this year. They've only kind of just started flowering. The Crocosmia over here haven't done very well this year. I don't even think these flowered. And I think it's because they're not getting enough sun. If I bring you up to the left-hand side of my garden, you can see this huge tree in my neighbour's garden, which unfortunately blocks so much sun out of the garden. I did have this pruned back about 5 years ago, so I'm going to go and have another word with them about maybe giving it a little trim again, just to let more light in the garden, because as you can see, it's quite shaded at the moment. I do get a bit of sun on the patio, a little bit in this midsection, and then mainly kind of at the back in the border, but it's definitely not getting as much sun as it used to. Finally got my first hibiscus flower, and as you can see there's quite a few flower buds on there, which is very promising. I didn't think they were going to flower this year because it's almost autumn now, and normally these flower kind of late August. I've got one honeysuckle flower left there. So as you can see, the pink chinas have come up, but they are again not doing as well as usual. They're a little bit smaller than they normally are. Again, I think this is due to lack of sunlight. Same with the cannas. They're obviously coming up quite nicely, but they still haven't flowered this year, which is a real shame. This is my favourite variety. The flowers are red and yellow, they're really beautiful. And I love the variegated foliage as well. But as I mentioned, it has been very up and down this summer, so we've had like very warm periods, and then it's been really cold and wet. It's just been very temperamental, and I think it has confused the garden a bit. The bananas all seem to be doing quite well. They're quite hardy, aren't they? But again, I haven't had any fruiting this year, so I haven't had any actual bananas like I did last year and the year before. So I won't be losing any of the main plants this year, because when they fruit they do die back to the ground, but then you always get new pups coming up from the bottom. This is one of the new ones from last year. The Crocosmia in the central island did quite well this year, but that's all died off now, so there's not much colour left at the moment apart from the Alstroemeria. If we go round to the back of the garden, you can see that my tree fern is looking quite happy. It's quite shaded here at the back now, and they do like a nice shady spot. They like lots of water, so it's kind of been perfect conditions for it this year. And then I've got my smaller tree fern here. Again, this side of the garden's really shady, so it's looking quite happy. I've got some other ferns here as well, which do really well. I have made a video before on plants suitable for a shady border, which I can link below for you, because this side of my garden barely gets any sun at all. So one of the new plants that I added to the garden this year was the Persicaria Red Dragon. which you can just see poking out here. Again, it's probably not getting enough light, which is why it's really leggy, because it should be quite bushy. This part here is actually flowering. My Canam again hasn't really done very well this year. In previous years this has kind of reached almost 5-6 foot in height. It's one of the largest, tallest cannas that you can grow. It rarely flowers here in the UK, but it is mainly grown for its large foliage and the kind of dramatic height. Some of the succulents that I've got dotted around the garden have done really well, considering it's been so wet, cold and shady. This one always does really well. I've got a few of these dotted around the garden. My Chaera is doing extremely well. You can barely see it now because it's so tall, and it's pretty much grown over into my neighbour's garden, which is a real shame because I don't really get to see it. But it's like a proper tree now. So if we head on over to the front of the garden, we've got the pot lips here. I did give it a really hard prune a few months ago because it was getting a little bit out of control, hence why it's only just started kind of reflowering. But that's a really nice hardy one, and it is a little bit sheltered in this corner because we've got the edge of the pergola, so that always comes back really nicely. You can see all the begonias are flowering at the moment. Again, these are one of my absolute favourites for a tropical style garden, and if I take you onto the patio I'll show you my other begonias. They are absolutely beautiful, all different shapes and colours. I think this one has to be my favourite. It's stunning, like orange coral, a bit of yellow, absolutely stunning. And the Lantana Tutti Fruttis actually have been doing really well. I bought these as tiny little plug plants back in, I'd like to say April time, I think, and it has taken, I must say, quite a long time to get them going, but now they're looking really stunning. I've got a few of these dotted around, and then I did gift some of them to friends and family as well. And we've got this begonia here, which is really hardy, comes back every year, this one, and it does kind of pop up in the garden everywhere. It's quite invasive, should we say. So it's probably best to keep this variety in a pot. So here you can see one of my other Alströmerias, so beautiful. I think the Alströmeria Indian Summer has to be one of my all-time favourites, but close second would have to be this stunning red variety, which I also picked up this year, so this is another new one. These are generally hardy, so they should come back every year. I've also got this white and pink one down here. Over here in this pot I've got on the patio, which is sheltered all year, we've got another Alströmeria, another Indian Summer variety, and then this stunning begonia, which actually I planted last year and it ended up coming back. In regards to deadheading your Alströmeria, I used to just leave mine, but then when I looked it up online, I saw that if you actually pull out the whole part of the plant that stopped flowering, so once the flowers have gone, you simply just give it a little pull like that, the whole thing comes out, and then apparently this does encourage new growth. So I've been doing that this year with my Alströmeria, and I have found that they have been sprouting new growth once I deadhead them. So this is a good tip if you want to keep them looking nice and bushy. So that's how everything is looking at the very end of our UK summer. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll go around the garden now and take a little bit more footage for you, and then put some nice music in the background, nice relaxing tour for you. I'll be doing my overwintering video soon for you, so keep an eye out for that. Take care, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.